Meantime, let's get to Brussels this morning because President Biden meeting with NATO allies on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Kayla Tausche is there on the ground and joins us this morning with more. Kayla, good morning.
Andrew, good morning. NATO leaders and top officials from the 30-member countries are now behind closed doors discussing how to respond to Russia's war in Ukraine. It's the first of a trio of summits here in Brussels focused on just that. The discussion at NATO underway is likely to also hone in on exactly what the plans should be for permanent troop deployments going forward and how much force should be needed across the alliance. 4 battle groups sent to Eastern Europe just yesterday, doubling NATO's efforts there. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, kicking off today's emergency meeting, said today's discussion is critical.
We are united in condemning the Kremlin's unprovoked aggression and in our support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. We are determined to continue to impose costs on Russia to bring about the end of this brutal war.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky will join this summit virtually. He's expected again to plead for a no-fly zone, which the alliance has repeatedly said it will not do. It does not want to provoke Russia. NATO is now estimating up to 40,000 Russian troops have been injured or killed in the war, which has now been going on for 1 month and could potentially enter a new phase. There are new fears that the NATO Secretary General spoke about again this morning, that Russia may resort to using chemical weapons as it gets desperate, and that those chemical agents could spread into NATO territory. So you can imagine they're going to be discussing how to respond in that case. Guys?
Kayla, what else is on the docket in terms of conversations, and what are you hearing sort of on the sidelines to the extent we're hearing certain things quite publicly from this meeting? Is there any sense behind the scenes that something else is going to happen here?
Well, certainly there are a lot of agenda items on the table, some of which will be handled at the NATO summit that's going on right now. But then there will also be a meeting of the 27 heads of state of the European Union, and the G7 leaders are going to be huddling separately as well in between those two meetings. There are going to be different deliverables that will be announced from each of those. We're expecting more sanctions on Russian oligarchs and lawmakers. We're expecting more military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine to be announced. We're expecting an announcement from NATO on what this permanent force posture in Eastern Europe will look like and the financial commitments made to the NATO alliance. And then tomorrow we're expecting an announcement on natural gas, as you guys were just discussing, plans for the U.S. to surge shipments of LNG to Europe. The European Commission president saying that she wants commitments at least to get Europe through the next 2 winters. They have a plan in place to wean off of Russian energy, the majority of it, by 2027. But of course, that's a long way away.